Hello, Lex Cunningham here with the Pure Garbage Podcast. I'd like to thank every listener out there from the bottom of my heart. And on behalf of our ever-growing crew, they say thank you as well for making us one of the hottest growing podcasts, amateur podcasts out there. And a part of that, we received some emails, and you can reach me at lexcunningham9@gmail.com. I'm also on Twitter as well, so at lexcunningham2 on Twitter. But lexcunningham9@gmail.com, in which you have any questions about the show. I got about 6-7 questions here I'd like to share with you, the listener, as well as let you know what's going on in the future. And to also, again, at the end, I'm going to thank you so much for listening, because this thing is growing and it's just blowing us away. We're having fun with it, and I'm glad you are too. And Walter McGregor, from Oshawa, Ontario, writes, when are you guys coming out for a few beers? And then he says the name of the bar, and I believe it's a country bar in Oshawa. Well, Walter, at some point, we'd like to do an on-site podcast. And as far as getting together and having a few beers with you, I'll send you a message, a private message, and we'll go from there. We have here Gail Windemeyer from Thunder Bay, Ontario, writes, hey, Lex, are you married? And is G.I. Joe going back to St. Louis? Well, Gail, no. He's not going back to St. Louis, and yes, I am married. Love my wife dearly. And no, I'm not married to the girls on the show, on the podcast. Both of them beautiful, though, I'll tell you that, guys. And you see these ladies, you just freak out. They're very nice people as well, and a hoot to hang out with. And all the guys and gals on the podcast are absolutely outstanding, upstanding people that like to have a laugh. Sandra Jones has a question as well. Okay, her question is Captain Hindgrinder single? And how come he's not on the podcast a lot? And what happened to Donnie Fistolata? Okay, Donnie Fistolata, he's going to be back on the podcast. One, I'll finish with that. He's going to be back. Trust me, you're going to hear from him. He did a divorce one with us, and which was just hilarious. Yeah, he's coming back. Captain Hindgrinder, he is single. And I guess in some show or later on, we'll have him give his email in which you want to reach him, or at least check him out on Twitter. Very nice guy. Both gentlemen, legit good people. That's all I can say about that. I let them speak for themselves. But yes, I'll let them know of the inquiry there. And then we have a Museem88 or 887, sorry, who asks, are we going to be doing any more sports podcasts? Absolutely, Museem. We got more sports podcasts coming. And we got Dr. Smiles, Keelsies, Teabagger, like to call him. He's going to be back as well. And of course, Big Red. Big Red is new to the podcast as well. Those gentlemen will be back. We'll be talking more sports. We'll be talking about working out a lot more. We'll be talking about anything that's kind of sports or sports type of entertainment with those guys, as well as crossing over to some other things. What you will not hear on this podcast, though, folks, are us going on to long political diatribes about current issues. We're trying to stay away from that, because the podcast field or podcast nation, it's just filled with everybody talking politics or their views on, say, the current president of the United States or the Prime Minister of Canada. We're just moving on into entertainment. I think sometimes you need a break from that type of stuff. So that's what we're trying to supply here for you, the listener. Not every podcast you're going to like. Some you're going to fast forward. Hey, you may hate all of them, only have one favorite. That's okay. We're not hurt by that. But as long as you understand that we're doing it with tongue in cheek, but also having a great time at it. And if there's something that kind of cracks you up during your day, then I think our mission has been accomplished. If you like all the shows, that's great. Keep hanging around. Feel free to share them. We're on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. All right, now we have here another message from a Bill Sheehan. Are the ladies married, and where can I get photos of them? Okay, the status of both the ladies, I believe he's talking about Veronica Fox and, of course, Piper Blackwood. I'll let them explain their personal situations, other than I believe both of them are not married. Now, do they have boyfriends? I don't know. I believe they both do, or they don't. I don't know. I don't get into that much of their personal situation, but that's awesome. And I'll forward that to them if they don't hear the podcast. I'll definitely let them know that you're interested in seeing more of them. Why no pictures? Why no website? Believe it or not, everyone on the podcast are truly modest, and they do it for a crack, shits and giggles and all that stuff. Do they want to have pictures of themselves? I believe not on a website yet. We're just trying to entertain via the podcast. Now, if you want to contact me about anything else, folks, that you're just listening in, you can reach me at lexcunningham9@gmail.com, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. These are emails that I've received over the last 4 weeks. 2 of them I just got rid of because they were just ridiculous, and they wanted to know where they could find G.I. Joe, and I was just like, nah, we're not going there, and I'm not giving you airtime. So I just wanted to say thank you again to you, the listener, for listening to the Pure Garbage Podcast. It's growing. It's blowing us away on how many listens we're getting, and realizing that it's you, the listener, that's been passing them on or listening to them a lot. Again, we just want to give you one big hug. Stay with us. This thing's only growing. Live from Oshawa, Ontario, from the garbage room. It's the Pure Garbage Podcast.